Hello, welcome to Cab Chat. Today I'm here with Lee Dacosta and we're going to be talking credit card payment systems, specifically the new CabPay Pro System that CabVison have got coming out very, very soon. So we can hand over to Lee and he's going to tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, just a quick introduction. Obviously, we've been in payment for 11 years now, 11 long years. As we all know, things really started to pick up at the time of the mandate, which was the start of 2017. And payment has now become incredibly important post the COVID era, electronic money. And you know, our offerings, we've had the mobile offering with the CabPay, and we've also had the integrated system, you know, with the Ingenico for a very long time, 3 different iterations of the Ingenicos. But the reality is that the actual hard payment devices, they're just not keeping up with technology. And doing everything via your own app, smartphone, the speed and the processing power of the app, you know, is going to make things a lot more simple for drivers in the vehicle. Yeah, I mean, obviously today I'm going to demo to you the sort of like the new features on what we're calling the CabPay Pro. I hope you like it. No different to how you would have this in your vehicle. So obviously, smartphone for the driver, printer obviously would be in the vehicle, payment device in the back of the vehicle with the customer. This is the Pro version of our CabPay, and this has got the colour screen. So because it's got the larger colour screen, you can just do more on it. So the standard version's been brilliant in terms of speed, and it's incredibly popular. But you know what we're talking about now is like the next generation of CabPay. So same setup. I mean, you know, if you was to have a £10 fare, you would go to £10. You would start the payment, and then you'd see the configuration happening into the back, and the customer would be greeted now with this £10, confirm the fare. When you confirm the fare, you've got what we call the standard tip-in. So you know, you're asking the customer for the gratuity or the tip, and when you click it, it's very similar to our old Ingenico setup in what we call the tip ladder. So you've got your presets there, Jamie. And what happens is that we call it dynamic tipping, because if the tip is below £15, it will auto-populate from a default setting of £3, £2, £1, and if you press button 4, you go to other, and the customer can choose what they like. When it gets above £15, I'm just going to abort this. So start a different one here, and you'll see it differently. So if I put £25 in as an example, and it comes its way to the terminal, so they're greeted with the same tip, but this time instead of having 321, because the fare's greater, the dynamic tipping has kicked it in to offer the 421. So we stay with a very basic low-end tip, because we think any tip's better than no tip, and also the £4 is pushing towards sort of 15% of the gratuity. The third one that kicks in here, if I just abort this one again, if we go above £30, so if we put £31 in as an example, most taxi fares have completed by £30. So what we find is at that point, if we're trying to you know, induce a tip out of the customer, then we believe that going to percentages is better than the higher you go. If we started saying £5, £4, £3, or £10, £8, £6, it becomes real money. And so changing it to values rather than percentages, we think that that's the better way of the driver receiving you know, tips on every single transaction. And what we've seen currently is that through our testing, we average 5% tips across the board, but at the moment it's at 7.6%. So you know, it's quite a substantial uplift. Yeah, we're very happy with that. It's early days. You know, we have to see when we start pushing these out in big numbers whether or not that's a sustainable number. But you know, to increase tips from 5% to 7.5% is always a 50% increase.
Yeah.
And that 2.5% is effectively paying all of the transaction costs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know that people will start saying it's too expensive. There's more competitive offers out there, but actually, in relation to approved devices, this is the most competitive price.
Yeah.
So you know, we think that we're putting a lot into this to give back to the customers who have been loyal to us, and we're also introducing transaction rebates. Depending on what contract you're in, your meter can be included. So when you start looking at all these little bits that are given back, we don't think that there's any value in using a handheld device. Yeah. There's no value to the driver, with the risk of obviously being stopped by Transport for London, vehicle being off the road. But all being said and done, handing a customer a device that's already just got the fare on it, you know, you're doing yourself out of a tip at the end of the day. And the tip's paying for all of the transaction costs, and we know that by the time that the customer's paid, let's say the 2.5% to CabVison, the driver's still taking 102%. Yeah. So you're getting more than the fare, even though the transaction costs have been paid. But some people just have not done the math really, and they're thinking, well, I'm giving someone else 1 or 2%. I think that's affordable, and we say, well, you could get 102% with us or 98% with them. Yeah. You know, maybe you need to give this a little bit more thought.
And just to alleviate the fears of drivers that have already got the Mura system fitted, that's still going to work, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Mura M10 device, as you well know, I think it's a PayPal customer back in the day. Yep. That device has been around for about 12 years. Of course, the security updates change, which is the same with our Ingenico terminals. You know, you have different iterations. They look the same, but underneath the hood, they're very different. And that M10 will be around until 2025. That's when the PCI license runs out on it. So it's still another good 2 years in that. Yeah. And it can go way beyond that, but what it can't do is be upgraded with the latest software. Yeah. So if they change contactless to £200 in 2025, those devices will be stuck at £100. Right. But those devices, you know, they've served us well. We've been using them since the beginning of 2019, so we're going into the 4th year of using that device. We don't plan to withdraw that device. Yep. You know, that will always be supported with us.
And the other thing is, people that have got the old Star printers like myself, that have got problems with batteries swelling and packing up now, because it doesn't work without the battery working. You've got an alternative for that, haven't you, if you're a CabPay customer?
So I mean, the way that the system works, and why I think we find it so popular, is that it's modular. Yeah. So if a customer comes in and spends, you know, £199 on the CabPay Total solution or the new Pro solution, which is $299, if a component goes wrong, you're not coming in and saying, "Oh, I've got to pay another £299." If it's the printer, as an example, it's £60. Yeah. So it's £50 plus VAT for a brand new printer. But we find, you know, that it's not the printer that goes wrong; it's the battery that goes wrong. The temperatures in the taxi, from being very cold some days to being very hot, the battery will swell. And our replacement battery for this terminal is £10 plus VAT. Yeah. You know, so we can get you a fix for cheap, and you know, with the M10s, we replace them for £30. They do go wrong. We can't say they don't go wrong, but they, you know, for £30, it's a relatively modest cost to replace it, and the battery at £10 plus the VAT is also a relatively modest cost.
Yeah, cheap cost.
Well, I'll let you say that, but yeah, look, I mean, it's. That's why it's popular in our view. Yeah. And the reason why we're able to retail more competitive rates is that when we buy these equipment, and we buy them in quite big volume, we get good discounts. And you know, when we were buying the Ingenicos, they were roughly 3 times more expensive than this kit. Yeah. You know, so our fees were obviously considerably higher, because it's a business at the end of the day. And now we can buy the equipment cheaper. The development is coming via our own application, so we have our own team constantly working on the application to make the improvements. And so therefore we should always remain cutting edge. Whatever's going on, CabVison, I wouldn't say we'd be at the forefront of it, but we should be able to at least provide our customers with that product if they've seen it elsewhere in a very short period of time without having to spend any more money.
And this, with the Pro system, there is, it just turned itself off. With the Pro version, there is other things you're going to be offering, isn't there?
Yeah, so I mean, we've got a whole new rebuild of the application which is going to come out in May, but we're actually introducing a few features into CabPay. It doesn't matter if you've got the Pro or whether or not you have the standard system, you'll still get the software upgrades. Right. And that software upgrade would give you the CabPay link. And it will also give you access to rebates based off of transaction volumes. One of the things that we feel is a big step forward, because we've always been the advocate of the integrated solution and not engaging with your phone, is that we've introduced the meter link. Yeah. And the meter link for our current CabPay users, that'll be a free upgrade. It is a hardware upgrade, so everyone would have to come in and have it fitted into the vehicle. And on the Pro, obviously it's standard, it's the new feature that would come with it. What we like most about that is that there's two particular settings with it. So you can stop the meter and you can send the fare directly to the back without any interaction whatsoever. However, if you're using our money bag, which is the expense tracker by CabVison, which is also another free product, is if you set it so that you get a menu, the menu will come up on the system and say card, cash, app or other. And depending on how you're paid, if you press the button, it will record your data automatically into the application. So that's an on-off switch. Some drivers are going to think that's brilliant, others are going to say not for me. And you can toggle that how you want. When we were designing this, come April 2023, there was going to be a change to the way that self-employed had to do their assessments. So we're thinking that every 3 months, drivers were going to have to start submitting data to the HMRC, and that was going to take up a lot of time. So we devised this, if you like, what's the word I'm looking for there? It was kind of like a fast track to HMRC, that you can record everything in the money bag, you can download it, you can edit it, you can submit whatever you want without actually having to input anything. Yeah. So you can review your own data and you can say, okay, fine, I pressed cash on that, but it was actually a card job and I just delete it. So it's all there to be done. And then the other feature that we're very keen on is actually our pay links. And the pay links, unfortunately, they haven't been approved by Transport for London, which I don't really want to get into because it's a very technical argument. But our view of it is that, you know, if you're using a pay links, we spoke about yourself doing tours earlier, you'll be in a position now that, so if someone comes to your website and they want to take a tour, you can just send them a pay link to their SMS or to their email, and you can take the money up front from outside of the taxi. Yeah. Transport for London won't approve it, so inside the taxi you shouldn't be using the pay link, but when you're outside the taxi, you're free to do what you like. Obviously you're not working under the regulatory guise of Transport for London, and that's just 1.49%. Yeah. So I mean, it's like super cheap.
It is cheap.
Money the next day. In fact, I mean, our customers have got used to receiving the money the next day anyway, but we've now made that a sort of solid commitment that we're next day payments 7 day a week as well. Yeah. So that we try and include the bank holidays, not always possible because the banks carry out some maintenance, but over the Christmas period, holiday period just gone, we was able to deliver the money the next day throughout Christmas with no issue. So you have to give credit to Barclays, who are our bank in that regard. You know, they didn't carry out any maintenance. We delivered the money, whether or not it was Christmas Day, Boxing Day. Obviously, unfortunately for the passing of Her Majesty, we've been able to deliver those bank holiday payments, and it's not costing our customers anything else.
So for a driver, you're offering various different options for a driver that wants to have this system in their cab. So for a driver that just wants to buy the system and have it fitted and have no ongoing monthly costs other than the processing fees and whatever, what would that cost him to have this fitted in his cab?
Well, if he's going with Pro, and as we're saying, Pro's got the dynamic tip-in, it has a colour keyboard and it has a much larger display, enabling us to do more on it. That's £100 more than the standard system at £199. So it's a £299 product. The only difference is the terminal. The printer's the same, fitting is very similar. You know, it'll be off of the bench in all of the vehicles, so we don't go behind the driver's head as you see in a lot of the TX4s. It's not been something that we've been particularly keen on.
No.
With our original Ingenicos, we put a shroud over them, so they're quite bulky, and we didn't want the drivers really to be restricted, but Transport for London wouldn't approve that, saying that it was a hazard when you were getting into the vehicle. So we've always had it behind the bulkhead on a TX4 for the Ingenicos, but the CabPays, none of them will be behind the bulkhead. They'll all be off of the grab handle, more in reach to the customer, easier to use, and in our opinion, in the right position.
Yeah. So, and there's two other offerings, isn't there? If they want to,
yeah. So
sort of rent the system.
yeah. So the way that it's working is, I mean, you know, drivers come in all shapes and sizes. Some people want to own the kit. When you own the kit, you get a 12-month warranty,
Yep.
And then when you fall outside the warranty, then you know potentially you are paying £30 for a new terminal or £12 for a new battery. Yep. But you've got maintenance. However, other people don't want the upfront cost, so you know we're going to replace our Ingenico fleet with exactly the same pricing, where we support it over the 2-year period. Driver will be able to get a transaction rebate if they transact in 100 transactions a month. Which most of our customers are now doing. I mean, that's been pitched at a particular level. And as well, once they're doing a regular £2.5K a month, the meter will be included. And once the meter's included, then they're going to get a dash cam included. Yeah. So, you know, it's really going to be a very comprehensive product that can be supplied to a customer who does quite a lot on cards, who doesn't want any costs up front. Yeah. There's all the benefit to keep them into a contract, and also the maintenance at that point is all covered by CabVison for the whole time that the drivers got the equipment.
So you mentioned the meter link for the CabPay Pro, yeah?
Yes.
Is that compatible with all meters, or is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not just the Pro, Jamie, just to clarify that. I mean, the meter link is going to work with both versions. Right. And it is compatible with all meter types. So we've never believed in just building for CabVison products. Yeah. You know, we supply a meter, which we call the CabVison meter. It's actually a Cygnus meter that's branded for us. And that's the most popular meter in the marketplace, but there's also the Digitax and there's the Haller meter, which we supply actually lots of. So yeah, we've done the work for all of the meter types, and you know, no matter what your meter is, there might be the odd obscure one which we're not so sure about. Yeah. But if you're using any of the main 3 meter types, then the link will work for you.
Yeah, I think you just about covered everything there, Lee. I mean, the reason why I wanted to come and do this was because when I read through all the bump that you put out on Twitter,
sure.
It did. The one question that I had personally was, is the Mura system still going to work? Because that wasn't within the bump, if you know what I mean.
No, I mean, subsequently we have put that. What happened was to the CabPay customers, so it's 2 different emails. We might have sent the wrong email to certain people, just the way that they're on the database. Some people are set up with 2 products. Yeah. But the idea is that when we went to the people that are using the current CabPay system, that we would say to them, you can upgrade your system, but what we didn't say to them is you don't have to do anything. And that was probably the most questions I was receiving via DM of like, I've only had it like 12 months, what I've got to get rid of. I'm like, no, you haven't got to do anything. We're just saying that even though you've had it for 12 months, we'll take it back in a trade-in. Yeah. You know, and so your trade-in is going to cost anywhere between 119 and 139, depending on the original Mura device, because some of them will expire, as I was saying earlier, with the certificates, they'll expire sooner than 2025, but we'll still take an old one back. because we want our customer to what we consider to have the better product. But the Pro product for me should be a must for night drivers, because of the fact that the keys are backlit and the screen's colour. And for all these people that are faffing about in the cab, where's your device? Yeah. We all know the limitations of the original Mura. It's a brilliant product, but it's got a price pinch, and it's pitched as an entry-level MPOS system. It's probably the premium MPOS, but when you look at other devices by SumUp and PayPal and the likes, the Mura is a better product than those in terms of the way it's built. They all do the same thing under the hood. So I've got no preference to particular brands, but when we looked at the testing of all these devices that were colour, some of them had colour screens, they didn't have the backlit keyboard, some of them wouldn't connect Bluetooth and they were only USB, which meant that we'd have to supply a tablet or something along those lines, and that's just adding cost that pretty much people don't need. So it's a nice luxury to have. But it's not a necessity. So, we feel that everyone's got a smartphone. Some people have two, obviously have the work phone and the home phone, have one just for applications. Some people just have one for payment. But the reality is that, Android and Apple, we're developing both of those simultaneously. We have more Apple users than we do have Android. So it suggests that, our customers like premium products, and now we feel that we've got a premium product for the marketplace. Not to say that the other one wasn't a good product, but as I said, it's limitations. I like to use the analogy about the TXE. I mean, TXE is absolutely brilliant, and everyone say it'd be brilliant if it had 200 miles. Well, it doesn't, and it hasn't for the last 5 years. And that was, people say, if this Mura had a bigger screen and it had colour keys, it would be brilliant, but it didn't. But now they've got one. Yeah. So we're introducing that, and we'll start the upgrades pretty much from now. The testing's just about complete. We had Transport for London in last week. They've approved the product verbally. We prefer to wait for the certificate to come and say everything's signed off, and then really from next week or soon thereafter, we'll start upgrading our customers.
So if a driver wants to come and have this fitted to his own cab, how long does it take to be fitted?
About 45 minutes.
And what about if someone's already got the previous CabPay system and they want to change over?
Depending on how that's been fitted, because other people other than ourselves do fit our products and we fit slightly differently, but probably no more than 20 minutes. Yeah. You're not doing anything in the front of the vehicle because you'll retain the same printer, which will hopefully already be connected to your phone, so there'll be none of the pairing stuff, and it's literally just a cable in the back, making sure that the device is powered via one of the USB plugs. Put the panels back and pair everything up, and away you go. So it's not quite a plug and play system, but it is a plug and play system for all intensive purposes.
Well, that's great, Lee. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
So if you want a new credit card system, then come and see Lee and get the CabPay system, the CabPay Pro system, and absolutely fantastic. I use CabPay in my cab, and I can say I can't fault it. I've never had a problem with it since it's been fitted, and I've never had a missed transaction or anything. Payments going to the bank account the following morning, and as I say, absolutely fantastic customer service from CabVison, so I can't fault it one little bit. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below, and hit the bell notification so that you don't miss any of our future videos, and see you in the next one.